Welcome to the Action Network podcast. I am your host, Evan Abrams, and I am joined by Brandon Anderson for another wild one, folks. Today is going to be absolutely great. We're going to go rapid fire throughout all 32 teams in the NFL. Brandon's got his Power Rankings article all put together, so keep an eye out for that on Tuesday. But today, we'll be going through those rankings here in tiers for Brandon to give one futures bet for every single team. A best bet, one bet. Every single team. We will go in backwards order. So let's not dilly-dally, Brandon. What else is going on? And let's get to this.
Yeah, I just got back from a little weekend away with my girlfriend before the start of the football season. Now it's all next Sunday, 20 Sundays in a row of football here forward. So ready to dig in. Be sure to check out the article companion to this. We're doing one bet every team, but the article is my manifesto. We're like 20,000 words of futures season preview. For every team, you're going to get my 10-word preview if you just want the short version, get the full season outlook, and then I ask some of the key questions we're going to watch for, especially early in the season. Schedule analysis, just a couple of notes on like when is this tougher, when do you want to buy in on futures? That's a really important part. Win total, I make an over-under bet, lean or pass on every one of them, and then the futures best bet. So today, this podcast, just the futures best bet, and you know how we do. It's not just going to be one best bet. We got some escalators in here. We got some mine shafts, get some long shots. We'll try to name the book for you where we can. Some of these are tough to find. If you're wondering and can't find one, again, check the article. Usually kind of spell it out how to get to there in the article. So yeah, 32-1, 32 bets in an hour. It'll probably be more like 70 by the time we're done. We're doing it, Evan. Let's go.
All right, let's start at the top here. So this is Tier 8. These are called the Cellar Dwellers. We're recording this late on Monday night, so we would have included Belichick in North Carolina, but that is a different situation all itself. So we will start at 32 with the Saints and 31 with the Browns. Show me your bets.
Yeah, so these are the worst teams in football. We've said plenty about them already, so let's do them both at once. Saints, here's the bet. Last winless team, plus 850 at ESPN Bet. Just lean into the tank. 8 of the first 9 games are against teams that are in my top half of my power rankings. The only one in there, week 5, home against the Giants. That's the one they might win. But if you want to avoid that, you can go 0 wins in September at ESPN. That's plus 200. I think if you avoid the Giants, get past that one, maybe go last winless plus 850. NFC 16 seed, worst in the NFC. Plus 225. Fade the Saints, fade the Browns. Basically the same sort of thing. With the Browns, I like the under 5.5. You want to keep it easy. But just give me for futures best bet, 0 wins after 5 weeks. That's a fast future at DraftKings, plus 340. Look, the schedule is brutal. Bengals, Ravens, Packers, Lions, Vikings. This team is not good. You basically need to believe that they'll win under 25% of the time each one of those games. If that's the case, then the plus 340 is in our favor. And again, 16 seed if you like it, plus 225. Over 13.5 seed, that means one of the 3 worst teams in the AFC. That's minus 125. And if you want one of the sure bets on the pod today, last in the division, minus 300. Come on, who are they beating in this division? It's not happening. The Saints and Browns are terrible. Let's talk about real teams.
Yeah, I don't have much to say here, except I like the Browns bet probably more than the Saints one. But next tier, no hope in the NFC. 3 teams listed here. We've got the Giants at 30, the Panthers at 29, and here we go. The Dallas Cowboys at 28. But start with the Giants at 30. What are your bets?
So Giants, we're trying to get a couple easy wins for you, Giants and Panthers fans. We'll get to Cowboys in a second. Giants NFC seed under 14.5. Now let me help you out here. Under 14.5 means better than the 15 seed or the 16 seed. I'm betting on the Giants. It's plus 120 at ESPN. We're getting plus money. Giants. I need you to beat 2 teams in the NFC. One of them can be the Saints. The Saints are terrible. Just beat them in that week 5 game and you're like golden after that. Beat one other team. Look, the defensive line is good. We like Dexter Lawrence. We like the pass rush. Everything is good up front there. Win a couple games, beat 2 teams. That's it. Beat 2 teams. With the Panthers, beat 1 team. Here's the bet. 2-0 head-to-head against the Saints. Plus 165. The Saints are terrible. Just beat the Saints 2 times. You don't have to win the division. You don't have to beat the Bucks or the Falcons. You don't have to go over. Just beat the Saints. In fact, both games are in the second half of the season. Tyler Shuck probably is out there, so that's even better for our bet. And if you need any more help, the game in New Orleans, Carolina's coming off of a bye week, so we even get like a schedule advantage in here. Giants just beat 2 teams. Panthers just beat 1 team twice. That's all I'm asking for you.
I guess my question was going to be, and I was going to look it up quickly, when is the Carolina home game, first or second?
Carolina home first, I believe, and then it's at New Orleans later, but coming off the Carolina bye.
I love that. Yeah, you get the one game, you hope that they beat them at home, and then you can figure it out later with the plus 165 ticket. So I'm good with that. All right, talk to me about Dallas.
Yeah, so we've talked plenty about the Micah Parsons deal. There will be plenty more to be said about it. Books didn't really budge off of the Cowboys. I'm going to take the under 7.5. That didn't really move at some books. But my best bet on the Cowboys, I'm leaning all the way in. They're 5th worst in my power ranks. 0 wins in September, plus 750 at ESPN. I just have to wonder, what does the locker room think about this whole mess of Parsons thing? Like, the locker room's going to know our defense is not good anymore. The defense with Parsons on the field for his career, number 1 EPA per play. With him off the field, they dropped to 31st. That's how important he's been to the team. If the defense is that bad and the offense is, we don't really know yet, but this is like a worse version of the Bengals at best from last year, probably. Now look at the schedule. Opening night in Philly, we're cooked. It's not happening. Week 2, you get the Giants. That D-line against Dallas's offensive line that hasn't really figured things out yet. That could be live. And if you get past that one, Bears-Packers. All right, now you're looking at Ofer in September, plus 750. There's been some sentiment out there on the internet reaction to the Parsons trade of, well, the Packers will be better, but I thought the Cowboys defense wouldn't be that good anyway, so they'll probably just be fine still. I do not think this team is fine. I think that this is the end, and if the locker room also thinks that, and they kind of quit early on, or if they're not in on the whole Schottenheimer experience, and this could get pretty ugly. So sorry to Cowboys fans. I tried with the Schottenheimer Coach of the Year ticket. No more. We're fading the Cowboys all the way down.
Yeah, I just hope the offense scores a bunch of points, but that's another day. Honestly, the bet comes down to the Giants in week 2. Aside from that, I could see them losing to Philly, Chicago, and Green Bay. So either way, fun one with the price. All right, we are on to Tier 6. These are just a bunch of AFC teams that you probably have question marks next to. So we will roll down this list, and then you'll come back with the bets. So 27 is the Colts, 26 is the Jets, 25 the Titans, 24 the Jags, 23 the Raiders, and 22 the Dolphins. You can start with the Colts at the top at 27.
Yeah, so these teams are together in this tier specifically because they're AFC teams. Over in the NFC, the Cowboys are out already because we've got like 11, 12 teams that I think are real playoff contenders, and we only get 7 spots there. In the AFC, I had a hard time picking playoff teams. I'm like, it's somebody who wants to be in the playoffs in the AFC. And so I think if you hear these teams, these 6, if you like one, great. Play a playoff ticket. Like, I don't believe in these teams. But the AFC is where you want your sleeper this year. I don't think it's the Colts, so they're at the bottom of this tier for me. I like the under 7.5 for Indianapolis. They've only gone over 3 of the last 10 seasons. My bet for Indy, fewest wins in the NFL is 22-1 at Caesars. I don't know that this is really that team. I think it's weirdly kind of like a decent floor team, and it's just the ceiling that I don't believe in. But if Daniel Jones isn't any good and Anthony Richardson isn't any good, there's possibility here where the Colts have kind of a winnable opening stretch. If they can't get some things going right away and you just don't have a quarterback, it might be time, Indy. It might be time to just pull the tank and, Peyton's nephew may be ready to come back to Indy next year, bringing another Manning out there. I like that angle as well. So 22-1 to just tank all the way down for Indy.
Got a bunch of AFC South teams in here, so no surprise starting off with one of them. All right, next one you've got is the Jets at 26. What are you doing there?
Yeah, so I'll keep Jets real quick. We did this one on our Exotics podcast. Jets touchdown leader, Braylon Allen, 14-1 at Bet365. Goal line carries, I think they're going to go to Braylon Allen. Breece Hall has never had more than 5 rushing touchdowns. And Fields, this is not his game. He's the guy that's going to get outside the numbers and, beat you with speed around the edge, but not really like the tush-push touchdowns guy. With the Jets offense, 5 or 6 touchdowns might be enough. So 14-1 there. If you like the touchdown bets at Bet365, we like David Montgomery 14-1 for the Lions and Jerome Ford 16-1 for the Browns there. Titans up next. This one's for you Mike Vrabel fans. If you're a Titans fan just longing for the old Vrabel days, I love this one. It's a special bet at FanDuel under future specials called Bussin' with the Boys. Titans over 5.5, Patriots over 7.5. That's where you're going to find it's a plus 190 bet. You'll hear why I like the Patriots coming up. Spoiler, a lot later in the podcast because I'm very high on them. These teams both are among the most improved teams in the league. We've talked about them over and over and over again. With the Titans, that offensive line, they've invested so much there. We talked about the hidden advantage at special teams, worst in the league last year, to hiring Fossil this year, and hopefully a big leap there. The over-under is at 6.5 traditionally. If Cam Ward wins 7 games and goes over, that would be the best mark by any number 1 pick rookie quarterback in the last decade. And I can't quite get there, but here we go, over 5.5. We get a win back. It's a little easier. The Patriots is down a win as well. So we're kind of taking like a little bit of alt overs here at a safer number. 2 together. Mike Vrabel before, Mike Vrabel after, plus 190. Bet on both of them.
Yeah, I like the Titans this year. I think they do have some upside. I probably prefer that Jets bet. I had Braylon Allen myself. I thought that was good value. I took it on the Exotics pod. So I am there with you. Okay. Oh my God. Another AFC South team. Jags at 24.
Yeah, what are all these AFC South teams doing down here? We're going to get to the Texans much later.
I was going to say, yeah, they're going to be there a little while.
They will. So 2 guys on the Jags I like. I like both receivers, so I'm going to bet both of them. My best bet here is Travis Hunter, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Offensive, not defensive, 12-1. I think he's the guy that goes into that Liam Cohen power slot role. That's the Chris Godwin role from last year. Through 7 games pace, Godwin was on pace for 1,400 yards, 120 catches. Hunter is an elite prospect. It looks right now like we're going to get more offense early. So I think personally, if we do get some defense, maybe a pick 6 or just interception and maybe a kick return, I think that doesn't go towards his defensive rookie of the year. I think that ship has sailed. I think if he doesn't play enough there, those actually end up extra credit. It's just an offensive rookie of the year. It's like a quarterback that runs too, and we just add in more things here. So I'm not worried that they're going to not have enough catches there with Brian Thomas Jr. 153 catches from this team are gone last year. From Evan Ingram gone, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis. So I'm in on BTJ as well, 40-1 on Offensive Player of the Year. I don't think these guys are both going to win, or else I wouldn't have the Jaguars this low, but I like betting both of them. So Hunter, 12-1 Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, you said it during our awards pod, and I think it's a really good call on the extra credit here because I agree he has no chance on defense, just don't think it makes sense. But offense, anything he does outside of just, say, the normal touchdowns, probably will get credit there. So I think it's an interesting add that I hadn't thought about. All right, we got the Raiders at 23 and the Dolphins at 22. Take me home.
Yeah, credit to you on this Raiders bet because we kind of got there on the exotics, but we're going to get the rest of the way there now. I'm going to go exact outcome 1-2 in the AFC West. Chiefs in first, Raiders in second. It's 14-1 at DraftKings. So I actually have the Raiders last in the division, but I have them within a game of both the Chargers and the Broncos. This is a bet on Raiders, quarterback, running back coaching, giant improvements on the team. We've talked a lot about that, but it's also a bet fading the Broncos and the Chargers because I don't believe in the defense on either of those teams, different amounts, but I think we're going to move back the other direction. I think the gap for the Chiefs stays about as strong, even though I have the Chiefs coming back a little bit. If these other teams do as well, then they're way out ahead as they're in my projections. And a little bonus, the Raiders actually host the Chiefs in Week 18. If the Chiefs are out ahead, like we're expecting on this bet, they might rest that week. Maybe the Raiders get an easier one that should have been a loss usually. So we talked about on the exotics, Raiders second place. You're right. That was like 7-1. This is double the price, 14-1, when the Chiefs first place is the thing I was imagining anyway. So Chiefs 1, Raiders 2, 14-1. Dolphins, I have no idea anything about this team, but if Tua's healthy, he's going to be good. He gets the stats when he plays. He wins when he plays. He's had a winning record all 3 McDaniel seasons. So the Dolphins bet Tua Tagovailoa, comeback player of the year, 35-1. It's a quarterback award. Dak's one of the favorite. Lawrence is one of the favorites. I don't know that Tua is any better than those guys, but he should be like a 5-1 favorite among them, not a 35-1. We know he'll be good. We just don't know if he'll play. So the bet here isn't, will Dak be good enough or will Lawrence be better under Cohen? It's just, will Tua play? Will he stay healthy? Probably not. But at 35-1, we can find out.
Yeah, most points in the NFL, least points in the NFL. I feel like they're going to hit one of those bets potentially. And then from the Raiders, I was kind of anti Raiders this year. The fact their schedule's pretty brutal, worst net differential. But Pete Carroll, 17 straight seasons of 7+ wins, so he rarely sees a basement. So we will see how that goes. All right, next tier time, tier 5. We're going to call this fatally flawed. So we've got the Commanders at 21. 20 for the Steelers, 19 for the Broncos, 18 Falcons, 17 Chargers, 16 Bucks, and 15 Bengals. Why don't you start it off at the top?
All right, we're going Commanders Mineshaft. I know you're surprised to hear him at number 21, but if you're surprised, it's because we're going all the way down here. So under 9.5, we're going multi-unit bet. That is my favorite over-under on the board. Missed the playoffs plus 130. Even if they went over the 9.5 in the NFC, you might still miss the playoffs. So I like that one as well. And then an alt under 7.5 plus 320. This is just not a roster I believe in. It's an old, quickly aging roster. The defense is bad. The offensive line is in flux. They trade away Brian Robinson, so I don't know if they have running backs they can rely on. I like Jaden Daniels, but we are asking a lot of this dude as a sophomore quarterback to go out in a play style that's pretty rough. Like, I don't know that we should just count on his health the way that he plays as well. I actually have the Commanders projected a full 2.5 wins below the 9.5. So I know I'm way low on market for them, but to me, this is a team, people think that they might be a sleeper for the Super Bowl. I think that might be a sleeper for like the top pick in the draft. If Jaden Daniels got hurt a little bit, even like missing a month, this could get really ugly. They were only over 5 of the last 15 seasons. Before last year, they jumped 4 to 12 wins. We know about all those crazy fourth downs, all the crazy outlier stuff. Here's a stat for you. Since 2006, 35 teams leapt by 6 wins or more in one season. 3 of the 35 improved again the next season. The other 32 dropped by almost 3 wins. So I think the Commanders drop. I think they drop down possibly quite far. Admittedly, like the Mineshaft a little more before Micah Parsons went out of the division, but we'll still take Washington all the way down. Under 9.5 multi-units, all the way down to under 7.5 as needed.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to analyze the team as a whole just because Jaden looks so good and there's different parts, but up and down on the roster, it's actually pretty weak. So I can see, unless Jaden comes to be Superman, I think they're going to have an issue. So let's keep rolling here. 20 and Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers.
Yeah, we're going to keep a bet here of this will be the least surprising bet on the podcast once I explain it. Stage of elimination. You can bet at many books. We're going to bet this at DraftKings. The Steelers get eliminated in the wild card round. It's plus 290, and it's the same thing they do every single year. We already know the stat. Mike Tomlin never finishes below 500, but you know what he does do? Loses the playoff game once he gets there. 6 straight playoff opener losses, all but one of them by double digits. So they're not even close in these games. And here's what I love about this bet. Steelers schedule super soft early, super tough late. Okay, great. Grab this as a make playoffs ticket because they're going to make playoffs but then lose right away. And then if you don't like it anymore, perfect. At the middle of the season, grab the under that might be up to 9 or 10 at that point. You might even hit both ways. We can get the juicy middle. The Steelers go 9-8. We keep the over 500 stat. They lose by 1,000 in the first round. We hit everything, and even the Steelers are happy. That's the bet. Easiest one on the board. It's what they do every single year.
Yeah, Chiefs to win the division, Steelers to lose in the wild card round. It just feels like every season all over again. So might as well keep rolling with it. All right, 19 and the Broncos.
Broncos, I'm out on the Broncos this year, so I'm going to take the under 9.5. But for this bet, I'm going to focus on RJ Harvey. I like him for Rookie of the Year as a long shot, 27-1. And then we gave out a couple of these super long shots. NFL rushing touchdown leader, 200-1. And at Fast Futures at DraftKings, 200-1 rushing yardage leader after week 4. So we know how good he was at Central Florida. You get the number 2 offensive line in the league now. You get Sean Payton, who's turned Alvin Kamara into a Rookie of the Year, into a versatile, league-winning fantasy type running back as well. I know RJ Harvey, there are criticisms about his run style. I agree with them, quite frankly. this is a great opportunity. And really, I think this is a good way to invest in Denver if you do like them. I think these numbers are quite long. I'm out on the team because of the defense and special teams, I think, can only be as good as they were last year. And I don't trust the offense enough. But if the offense is trustworthy, I think it's because of Harvey. So investing in him multiple ways. Falcons up next. Zach Robinson, Assistant Coach of the Year, 60-1 at FanDuel. We talked about that one on the awards podcast. It looks like who wins this award? It's 11 years out now. It's a coordinator usually in their first or second season on a winning team, but they need one side of the ball way better than the other. They need their side to be carrying the team. Well, that's the Falcons. If the Falcons are good, it's not because the defense was good. It's because the offense showed up. Zach Robinson built a great run game last year. And I don't love the offensive lineman injuries on this team, so that's why I'm not really investing heavily in the team. But if the Falcons are good, if they go from say 8 to 12 wins in the terrible division, offense is going to be the reason. So I think this is a great way to invest in the Falcons. And really with a lot of these bets, look, Falcons and Broncos, I'm not really in on them, but you can imagine, what if I'm wrong? What if the season goes well? How does it go well? These are ways that those teams did go well and how you bet it if you like them.
Yeah, I like the Harvey bet from the Broncos side because it's basically just a bet against Dobbins. In the 1 versus 1, if you end up making the right call there, I think the upside's really incredible. All right, 17, the Chargers, hit it up.
I'm going player prop on this one. I had a hard time finding a Chargers bet I liked about the team. I just kind of am somewhere around the market, but not Chargers year after year are a team that I have a hard time, and there's a lot of coin flip games for me. But I do love this prop. We're taking the escalator on Ladd McConkey receiving yards. So last year as a rookie, 82 catches, 1,149 yards. Last 7 games, even better. Once they got going with Herbert, we know they passed more down the stretch. He had at least 83 yards all but one of those last 7 games. Paced just under 1,600 yards. Do you know that at ESPN Bet, his over-under on the season is 950.5 yards? Under 1,000 for Ladd McConkey, second-round fantasy pick. Ladd McConkey, future fantasy star, Ladd McConkey. So we're taking the over, and 1,250 yards is plus 250. I think even that is too low. We'll take 1,500 yards at plus 700. I'd love a receptions escalator if that was available. I didn't see that one out there, but I think the yardage, without going too crazy on it, fits pretty well for him too.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to ask if there was a receptions or an over-under or something like that. That's normally what I would look at with Ladd, but I agree. I mean, he is just so pivotal in that offense, and I think the additions on the offensive side of the ball, he's just going to become more important, and maybe, hopefully, gets a little bit more one-on-one coverage versus more attention, so we will see how that goes. All right, 16. We're halfway there. Bucks at 16. What do you got?
We got another mine shaft. I'm out on the Bucks. I think you got to be out on the Bucks with all the injuries early on. Tristan Wirfs, all those receiver injuries. Here's the mine shaft. Under the 9.5, under 7.5. Alt under is plus 250 at DraftKings. And just in case, last winless team, 50-1 at ESPN Bet. Look, they probably can't go all the way down the mine shaft because they're still in the NFC South. They could legitimately start 0-7 in the NFC South and still be 2 games back and be we're healthy now. Maybe we'll go do the thing. And they might do it anyways. I think they're 4-time division champions right now. But I think if you look at the schedule, you get Atlanta week 1. Really important game. Both teams, lots of injuries right now. We'll see how that goes. This, might just be Tampa wins that one, and this is all bad right away. Very possible. I'll admit it's a pretty coin flip game to me. But in the first 7 games after Atlanta, Texans, Eagles, Seahawks, Niners, Lions. It's a really rough stretch. I don't know when Wirfs is going to play. If he misses longer than expected, that is a problem for this entire offense. I think it's a problem for Baker. And if things go badly, does anybody really think Todd Bowles and Baker are the long-term answer in this team? I know that they've been performing well, but I think maybe they have to think about turning the page a little bit if it gets really ugly to start out. So Bucks mine shaft all the way down, just in case this Wirfs injury is really worse than it looks like.
Yeah, this whole bet might come down to week 3 at home against the Jets, which is a game they can easily lose. So aside from that, you would be getting all the way to week 8 in New Orleans. By that time, you might have won your bet already. So Decent value on that one. All right, 15 and the Bengals.
All right, Joe Burrow. Let's go break some records. Joe Burrow break the all-time passing yards record, 22-1 at DraftKings. Thank you very much. I don't want any award bets here. Awards you got to win games for. I don't want to bet on the Bengals winning games because I got to bet on the Bengals defense. I want to bet against the Bengals defense. If the defense is bad, Burrow passes even more. Last year led the league in completions and attempts and yards. 4,918 yards last year. Just week 10 forward, he paced for about 5,700 yards. That'd be the record. The record's 5,477. If they're close, I think he'd push for the record. That'd be a cool thing to add for him, who might not get an MVP with the way that defense is and help he gets around Cincinnati. But we know they're going to pass well. We know Chase and T are going to be open. They're going to be, doing that all season long. We talked about him with Offensive Player of the Year. We talked about with a lot of the stat things. Forget all the awards. I don't need anyone voting on this. Just go get the yards and beat everyone. I think he's like plus 500 to lead the league in yards. Great. Skip that one and just go for the record at 22-1 instead.
He's healthy entering his season. I like that, which he usually isn't. And then you've got, you look off the bat, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Minnesota. Past defenses that can be beat, especially Minnesota blitzes. Jacksonville's pretty shaky. So I can see him also having a pretty fast start, which would help with this one. All right. The NFL season is officially here. And to get the most out of the award-winning Action app, you'll want to be an Action Pro subscriber, because only Pro subscribers get real-time pick alerts from experts like Sean Kerner, Joe Gallant, myself, and our entire Action Network team. Plus, you can access our Pro projections powered by Kerner and our predictive analytics team. To celebrate football's return, we've got a special offer for you. Just go to actionnetwork.com/pro and get $20 off the annual price with the promo code POD20, POD20. So don't miss out on the best bets at the best prices. Visit actionnetwork.com/pro. Use promo code POD20, POD20 to get $20 off a year of Action Pro. Can't believe the NFL is back this week. Can't wait. All right. Tier 4, Brandon. The NFC Bloodbath. So you've got the Rams at 14, the Lions at 13, the Seahawks at 12, and the Cardinals at 11. Talk to me.
So here's what's crazy about this. We got these 4 NFC teams here. By the way, I have the standings right now. One of those 4 teams can make the playoffs. These are 4 teams fighting for the 7 seed in the NFC. That's why I'm calling this the Bloodbath, because, we got to let one of the South teams in. So they're all below here. But otherwise,
somehow we do.
Right. We've still got 6 more NFC teams to come in our top 10. So Rams, first bet, 2 bets here for the Rams. Missed the playoffs, plus 125. Last in the division, plus 370. Kind of a mini mine shaft, I suppose. So last year, the Rams fade was one of my top fades on the board. Looked great. 1-4. I'm feeling good. They finished 9-3, 6-0 in 1-score games on that stretch, and then sneak into the playoffs, win the division on like the 8th tiebreaker over Seattle. I'm back. I'm doing it again because Matt Stafford is hurt, man. Like, it looks like he's going to play. We're getting little reports each day like, oh, it looks like Stafford will play week 1. Super. That's not the tweet I want to be getting sent out 6 days before the season starts, that we think my quarterback might play in week 1. He has not played at all in the preseason. That's pretty normal for the Rams. But he didn't even do any of those scrimmages or anything else. Alaric Jackson, the left tackle, he's out as well. Here's the first 6 games. 4 of them come against Texans, Eagles, Niners, Ravens. So if it's not great early, if Stafford is not right, and if he's not getting protected, and his stats have been very correlated to his blocking in the past, if it doesn't go well early, I think the Rams could get another one of those 1-4 type starts. And then will I hold my position? I don't know. It didn't go well for me last year, but if we got plus odds here, a lot of these bets, you pay attention to the schedule. I think if you just think the Rams are bad for 6 weeks and lose to the Texans, Eagles, Niners, Ravens, you got options now. Futures are not for hiding into the ground and coming back 4 months later. We can add later. Maybe they start out badly, and now you can make playoffs at plus 125, and now we're just out. You get both sides. We're guaranteed a win. So the Rams, this is an early investment, fading the early part of the season. We'll kind of see what we do from there.
Week 1's big at home against the Texans. If you drop that game, you go at Tennessee, at Philly. You could start 0-3 very easily. It depends on what you think about Tennessee, but still a tough game across the country. All right, 13 and the Lions.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I don't think we're really surprised at this point. I got to be out on the Lions this season. Obviously, with the Lions, we've talked ad nauseum. The hero of the podcast, perhaps, Ben Johnson, no longer with the Lions. So no Ben Johnson, but it's not just him. It's also no Ragnow on the line, no Zeitler on the line. So we lose 2 linemen. We got 3 new interior linemen. And I'm not even really out on the Lions overall, as much as it sounds like that. It's more that here we are in this NFC bloodbath, and somebody's got to lose some games. Somebody might even have to miss the playoffs. So I'm taking the mine shaft. It's under 10.5. I think that line is just too high. And I'm going to go miss the playoffs, plus 165, and last in the division, all the way down, plus 450. So Lions have only gone over 10.5 as a franchise 3 times since 1991. So that's not a great start. Of course, they did last year. But here's a stat for you. In the last 31 years, we got 38 teams that won 13 games or more, but did not make the Super Bowl. All but 4 of those teams equaled their record. Everybody else got worse. Nobody got better. And the teams that got worse dropped by 3.6 wins the following season. Now look, the Lions won 15 games. You could still lose that many games, still go over the number. But I just think this is a team that for this entire Campbell era, their identity is we're going to bite you in the kneecaps and win in the trenches, and we're going to win with coaching edges. All right, well, what happened this offseason? The edges went away at coaching. The edges went away in the trenches. The defensive line is all banged up, so it's both ways there. I have to fade this team. That's like the entire, basically, what I'm looking at in this, how I'm analyzing teams. So it's not that I'm on Detroit. I actually have them top 15 offense and defense. The rest of the division is top 10 at those things. Now that Parsons got traded into the division. So under 10.5, too high of a number for a team that lost that much. Miss the playoffs just because it's going to be a tough slog in the NFC. And then in that division, if you like the Bears as much as I do, and the Packers and the Vikings, then last in the division plus 450 is just the natural conclusion there.
Yeah, on our pod, I like the Lions to miss as well. I just, rest of the division, you said it yourself, so I am on board. All right, maybe a shocker to some. 12, the Seahawks.
Yeah, a little higher than you thought, perhaps. A little higher than I thought, too, to be honest. I wasn't expecting the Seahawks to be quite up in this mix. It's the defense, really, that I think keeps them in the mix of things. The defense and a pretty good still home field advantage when there's not a lot of that left in the NFL. But the hope is that the preseason Kubiak offense actually looks as good as it might look. And I'm not really projecting it to look that good. I'm going to rank them like the 27th offense. But here's the play for Seattle. Similar to the Steelers, stage elimination, wildcard round, plus 380 at FanDuel. Because could the Seahawks make the playoffs? I think they could. They're plus 170. That's about 37% implied. I don't see a ton of value on that number. I don't really want to invest in Sam Darnold. Okay, great. How about I invest against Sam Darnold? What if the defense is good enough to make the playoffs, but now it's the playoffs and Sam Darnold's playing, and I don't want the Seahawks at all anymore? Now I just turned my ticket into a plus 380 money line on not Sam Darnold. Maybe Seattle's at home if they won the division. Probably they got in as a wild card if they did make it. So I got Sam Darnold on the road. I got my Vikings jersey on. Give me all the fade Sam Darnold stock in the playoffs, plus 380. And then the flip side, Cardinals at 11. They are the team in this tier that I have into the playoffs, so just keep it like that. Make the playoffs, plus 140 at Caesars. And this is another one, similar to the Rams. With the Cardinals, I think you have a hot start. First 6 games, you get the Saints, the Panthers, the Titans, and the Colts. I think the Cardinals are just kind of good at a lot of stuff. The offense and defense are sort of trending up. They had a lot of talent on the defense. I don't really expect to be super in on the Cardinals, but I'm not even sure I've made up my mind. But at plus 140, if you beat Saints, Panthers, Titans, Colts early, you're 4-2 or 5-1. Great, we can make another decision now. Our ticket has gained value for us. Maybe the Rams are losing, so the division's looking a little bit better. We'll see what happens with the Niners. We'll get to them in a second. But I think your ticket gains value. You're going to have options later. You can get out. You can take an under, whatever you want to do, or you can let it ride and see if the Cardinals are kind of that it team this year.
All right. After the NFC West, we are down to our top 10. So entering tier 3, we're going to call these teams the sleepers. So you've got at 10, the Patriots. At 9, the Bears. At 8, the Vikings. At 7, the Bills. And 6, the Texans. All right, Brandon, start with 10, the Patriots.
Yeah, Bills not exactly a sleeper, so they don't quite fit the tier name, but we'll get to them. In their own division, the Patriots, here at number 10. Man, I'm high on the Patriots. This is aggressive, I know, but I have them top 10 defense as well. Here's the bet. I like the over 8.5, but I'm going a perfect 4-0 start in September. 4 wins in September at ESPN Bet. It's 8-1 odds. Here's the schedule. Raiders, Dolphins, Steelers, Panthers. That's the 4 teams you got to beat in order for this to be the number you want. You want basically to think the Patriots are a little over 60% to win each one of those games. Then you like the number here. So why do I like the Patriots? We've spoken a lot about them. They add Stephon Diggs. They add offensive line. 4 brand new offensive linemen. 2 rookies on the left, 2 veterans on the other side. It's going to take a little time, but a much better floor there. They add a rookie receiver, rookie running back. And then the defense, tons of names on the defense, just adding talent all over the place. Carlton Davis comes in, Robert Spillane, Milton Williams, Harold Landry. We get Christian Gonzalez healthy. We get Christian Barmore healthy. Just a ton of talent. Apparently not Jabril Peppers. I'm not loving the not Jabril Peppers part, I'll be honest. But Mike Vrabel, we know that he and Josh McDaniels will bring a culture change and, perhaps a culture reversion is what I think New England is hoping here. Back to the Belichick days of yore. Vrabel was over his first 4 seasons in Tennessee. He's a guy that his teams consistently overperform. I don't know that I want Patriots playoffs, making a run future. I think we're aggressive getting there, but make the playoffs plus 154. I like that. They are a clear 5 seed for me. And we'll even get to another Patriots bet still later in the podcast. But starting out in September, Raiders, Dolphins, Steelers, Panthers. I think the Patriots are the best team of those 4. I think they should be a favorite in those 4 games. If I'm right and they're good right away, plus 800 to start 4-0. You don't want the 5-0. At DraftKings, you get the 5-0 start. Week 5 is Buffalo, in Buffalo. No, thank you. Keep your extra 100 odds. I'll take my 8-1 September and get out.
I love the bet just for that. In that circumstance that you kind of get out before the real stuff starts, they should win most of those games in the lead up. So I kind of like the way you've positioned that New England bet. So I'm with you there. All right, 9, Chicago.
Yeah, well, what have we not said about the Bears at this point? Let's keep it simple. Bears Island, worst to first division winner. We get a better number now, plus 625. Thanks, Micah Parsons. Let's be honest, not thanks to Micah Parsons. I would have rather had Bears Island without Micah Parsons prowling around on the Packers. That's not great. That was the team I had as a division favorite already, even when I took the Bears. But we did get a better number, and I still have the Bears within a win of the Packers. It's going to be tough. That whole division is tough. But I think actually Parsons, to me, maybe helps the Packers more in the playoffs than it does in the regular season, just from a win total standpoint. With the Bears, it's Ben Johnson. It's the interior line that they've invested in. Joe Thuney, Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson. And then it's Dennis Allen also. Don't forget, not just Ben Johnson, but bringing in the veteran play caller. We love a fired, restored defensive play caller. That's Dennis Allen. So I just think the Bears, everybody thinks they're going to be better. I think the Bears are going to be better right away. I like the schedule the first 3 weeks. They get some breaks with opponents, the Vikings and the Lions and Cowboys, who are reeling a little bit, have some injuries right away. I think they luck a little bit into that. It's a tough schedule. If you just want playoffs, plus 195, I know Gilles took that on our podcast. I don't mind it if you want just the playoffs. It's a tough division, but we'll stick with it. Bears Island, plus 625.
Yeah, we're not every bet's perfect, so we can't agree with everything. So we'll move on to number 8 here. Your team, the Vikings, number 8. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. I put them there myself. So very, very much congratulating myself. Yeah, I had a hard time figuring out the Vikings. I think if you're being like, I'm normally kind of a nihilist Vikings fan. I think there's a lot to like on this team. The offensive line is greatly improved. The weapons are good. The defense should be great. The coaching is good. It's all a bet on JJ McCarthy. So if you're asking me, I think it was just bet on JJ McCarthy. So I'm going to take a JJ McCarthy passing touchdowns escalator. We're going straight to the source. Forget the rest of the team and bet the guy. So Minnesota, under KOC, has been top 6 in the NFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns all 3 seasons. Kind of shocking. If you think about it, we got a season of Sam Darnold. We got a season of Kirk Cousins. That's the good one. And we got a season of Kirk Cousins and like 17 other dudes off the street that are all playing in 3 seasons. More than half of the games under KOC have been started by the backup quarterback. If you're counting Darnold last year, which I think we should, McCarthy should have been the starter. So we don't even need incredible quarterback play. We just need like a baseline of competence. McCarthy's over-under is 24.5 for passing touchdowns. You're getting plus odds at ESPN Bet. 30 touchdowns is plus 225. We've hit 30 touchdown passes in Minnesota all 3 of KOC years. So if McCarthy can just be as good as Sam Darnold or the corpse of Kirk Cousins and all the other guys who played that year, 30 looks in play, top of the escalator, 35 passing touchdowns is plus 550.
Depending what you think about Thielen, it could be nice to get Addison back after a few weeks once, everything's kind of rolling. So I can see it. And I think a lot of questions about McCarthy. But to be fair, KOC pretty much is able to pick his quarterback, and it looks pretty decent. So I think a lot of us assume that the efficiency will be there, but time will tell. All right, 7, the Bills.
Yeah, not exactly a sleeper, sitting here in the sleeper tier. And Bills fans might not really love this bet for their team either. I'm not out on the Bills. I'm just not in on the Bills. Obviously, I'm in on Josh Allen, the deserving MVP. He's been great. He makes them have basically a top 3 offense, virtually guaranteed. I just feel like there's more things that can go wrong for this team than there are upside in them. And I'm not saying like things always go wrong for the Bills. I just mean you're buying in at the peak of the Bills. And we talked about why I like the Patriots. So here's the bet. Bills, Patriots, top 2 in the AFC East. This is not an in order. This is just those are the top 2 teams. It's at DraftKings and it's minus 105. So we're basically getting even odds that the Bills and the Patriots in some order are ahead of the Dolphins and the Jets. So it's a bet on them. It's a bet on the Bills having a pretty clear floor. I'm not out on the Bills. I'm just not super in on them. They are, to me, the one division in the AFC that I think it is up for grabs. I think the Patriots are in a play here with all their improvements. I'm not in on the Dolphins, I'm on the Jets. We talked about them hours ago already. So minus 105 to just be in the top 2. And a little not Bills escalator that we're sneaking in here. Patriots 1, Bills 2, exact order, plus 750 at Caesars. I have the Bills winning the division just under half the time. So less than a coin flip. I have the Patriots winning, but the Bills second, about 25% of the time. That would be 3-1. We're getting 7.5-1 here.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, we talked about this on the other pod. I could see it both directions, and I don't see the upside with the Jets, at least from an offensive standpoint, which is tough in this league. And I think the Dolphins, things can go really bad really quick. So I like it even close to even odds there. All right, last one in this tier, 6, the Texans.
Yeah, I think people are sleeping on the Texans a little bit. We're going to take a little mini Texans escalator. We might be back on Texans Island this year. Give me Houston in the division, AFC South winners, plus odds. What are we doing? Plus 115 at FanDuel. I'm going multi-units on that. I love that division bet. And a little nibble with our winnings on the Super Bowl. Houston Texans, the winners of the whole thing, 40-1. So here's the case. I think we're buying low on Houston. Last year, everybody bought high on this team and was a little bit burned. Like, you play fantasy and you take that guy top 10 and he stinks. And then the next year, like, he didn't really stink. He's just like the running back 12. And it's like, well, we didn't quite get the breakout we wanted. And now no one ever wants to take him again. I feel like that's kind of what's happening to the Texans here. Look, they are possibly the number 1 defense. They're possibly the number 1 special teams. Everybody loves their coaching. So we have a super high floor. The rest of the division's still pretty bad. We talked about all 3 of those teams way down the other end of the power rankings. I think it's all upside. If Nick Caley, the new offensive coordinator, if things click and the offensive line is worst in the league right now, but can the offensive coordinator build a run game out of it? Can he get the offense moving a little bit? Can he get the line not great? Can he get them 24th maybe? Can he get them just not 32nd anymore? Give CJ Stroud a little time, a little more confidence. I still have the Texans 4 wins ahead of the division. We're getting plus odds in the division. I just think that's a ludicrous number. The Texans are by far better. Their defense is by far the best unit in the division. And then if you like the Texans, we've given out a few long shots for them. D'Amico, Coach of the Year. I know you like that one. That was 65-1. Texans 1 seed, 45-1. That sounds kind of crazy, but I have them within a win of that. And then if they get there, or if they're a top 2 seed, you're going to want the 40-1 Super Bowl long shot ticket. I don't know that this is the one I expect to cash for me, but can I get a Texans 40-1 into the AFC Championship game? Can you give me some options here? Now what can I do with my ticket? And I think it's important. Remember, you don't always have to cash your ticket to win. You can do things with them later on. So I think that's the goal of the Super Bowl ticket here. Maybe we'll cash it too.
Yeah, we've been through 3 tiers since we've hit the AFC South. So we finally finished it between tiers like 7 and tier 2. But the Texans at 6. All right, it is now time for tier 2. These are the contenders. We've got 4 teams listed. At 5, the Chiefs. At 4, the Eagles. At 3, the Packers. At 2, the 49ers. I won't give away 1, but if you're counting, you'll know at home. So go through those 4 teams. Start with the Chiefs at 5.
Yeah, Chiefs, we did this one on our exotics. I'm going to give you a little parlay here. Chiefs, Texans, Eagles, division winner parlay, plus 633 at FanDuel. So this is, again, as always, this is a bet on 12 teams, really. It's a 12-team parlay. We like the Chiefs, we like the Texans, we like the Eagles, and we're betting against everyone else in those divisions. Chiefs are pretty close to even odds in the division. I think there's still value there. I actually have a slight step back here. I have some questions about the offensive line. I'm questioning a little bit Matt Nagy, and is that why the offense is down to 8th in DVOA the last 2 years after top 3 every Mahomes year before that? I'm wondering about the defense, some of the names they're losing there. It just seems like we're getting kind of slightly a little bit worse each year. We're just losing names. It's expensive to keep this team going. No Rashee Rice the first 6 weeks, but we already made the case for why I like the Chiefs in the division, because I'm out on the Chargers and Broncos. Not out totally, but out kind of accordingly in the division. So I actually have the Chiefs and these other 2 teams, Texans and Eagles, all something like 70 to 85% in the division, like a clear jump ahead without really even I don't even know who would be the second contender in these divisions by the way that my projection's set up. So parlay that together, I make this parlay actually slightly better than a coin flip. We're getting plus 633. So this is just to me saying, okay, just give me the 3 teams that are my surest division winner bets that I think there's odds in our favor in all of them, similar, close to coin flip on them all. So if you want to play them separate, I don't mind that. You want to parlay them together, or you could throw these 3 and then your sleeper. You might, like the Patriots, you throw them in with these 3. Now you're at like a 30-1 division. And so don't get too crazy. Don't play 8 guys together in the division. You're not going to hit all 8 of them necessarily, but KC, Houston, Philly, plus 633 together.
I like it. I mean, we talked about it on the other podcast. I feel like it's the most likely, and I feel like getting towards that even number on those 3 teams, especially, probably gives you an out, even if there's 2 there. So I am with it. All right, give us our next bet.
All right, Eagles, we're going prop on this one. Give me an A.J. Brown upside escalator. So let me explain, and I'll give you the numbers. I think Philly passes more this year. I think maybe even a lot more. We saw a very run-heavy team in the second half of games last year as they were just running the lead off the field, but they were pretty neutral in the first half, actually. We can only expect the Eagles, just by regression alone, to probably not be so far ahead in so many games this year, especially. They lost a lot of names from that number 1 defense, so we'll see how that holds up. Not out on the Eagles. We also don't know about Kevin Patullo, the new offensive coordinator. What if he just wants to pass a little bit more? That seems perfectly in play, that they pass more just from the unknowns there. So with A.J. Brown, it's just a volume play. He's always been efficient, over 10 yards a target in his career, almost 16 yards a catch. Last year, he missed 4 games. Before that, 2 years in a row, over 1,450 yards. So I'm starting right about there. Here's the bet. 1,500 receiving yards for A.J. Brown, 7-1 at BetMGM. That's the start of our escalator. Then we're taking him to lead the league in yards, 28-1 at Caesars. And then we also gave him out for Offensive Player of the Year. He's now 55-1 there as well. So I think if A.J. Brown gets going, if they pass a little bit more, really, this is me betting on the Eagles being slightly worse, having to pass a little bit more, and A.J. Brown being as good as any receiver in the NFL and being the beneficiary there. So 1,500 yards or more, 7-1, lead the league, and Offensive Player of the Year, that's the escalator.
Honestly, I see it. I mean, I have the Eagles kind of pinned there as well in terms of this top tier in this division. I think you're going to see it in the first game against Dallas. So I see no problem with that. All right, 3 teams left. The Packers at 3.
Yeah, so Packers are tough because obviously the Micah Parsons deal shook up all the odds. You know, everything, the over-under went up by a full win. The Super Bowl odds got nuked. Everything got nuked. So I'm going to do another passing stat escalator here. Give me Jordan Love passing touchdowns escalator. So we know I like Jordan Love, my number 6 quarterback. I can't really look at investing elsewhere because of all those odds moves, but I like the passing touchdowns a lot here. Green Bay passing rate last season dropped 10%. They were bottom 3 in passing rate, bottom 3 in neutral passing rate, bottom 3 in passing rate over expected. That is not Green Bay football. That was Green Bay football because Jordan Love got hurt for a couple of games. Malik Willis had to play, and then Love was still hurt for a while after that. So I think LaFleur was protecting him. We also saw Green Bay's passing touchdown percentage drop. So if you look at all the touchdowns the offense scored, last year only 55% were passing touchdowns. The 4 previous years under LaFleur, 75, 75, 69, and 76%. So about 3/4 usually, half last year. I think those numbers go back up. Jordan Love is healthy now. Matt LaFleur has always had high passing touchdown numbers with the Packers. Rodgers won MVP twice with 75 touchdowns in 2 years. Love at 32 his first year, 25 last year, and he missed 2 games and played hurt in a few others. So here's the numbers we're taking on the escalator. Over 23.5. Don't insult me. Minus 120. That is a crazy number for a Packers quarterback. 30 passing touchdowns is plus 260. I'm going to put plenty of the bet on that number as well. I think that's really kind of the outcome you expect for the Packers. And then 35 touchdowns is at plus 650. And okay, fine. Twist my arm. If you still have a 20-1 MVP ticket out there on Jordan Love, if he gets 35 touchdowns, and if the defense is good, and if they win a lot of games, I have to believe that that probably is the escalator play all the way up on MVP for Jordan Love. I think it's in play for him at some point in his career. Maybe now with Parsons. It's not that Parsons makes Love better. He might just make people respect him a little more because they win even more games.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we played this as a real long shot entering last year, but I feel like Jordan Love MVP in a parlay with like the Packers Super Bowl, which I believe they allow you to do, something of that nature where you're able to take one and kind of, put it together with a team effort into the playoffs. I feel like it's something long, even worth interesting, good defense now with the good offense. I feel like they're way more balanced, obviously, but your Packers are at 3. Let's talk about your 49ers now at 2.
Yeah, my Niners, my first Super Bowl bet of the season at 20-1. So you already know that one. The bet here is I like the over 10.5, but I'm going to take Niners most wins in the NFL, 13-1 at DraftKings. This is a bet on the healthy roster. They lost so many games last year. I think like 83 games between just all these different, Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey misses most of the year, and like 4 or 5 defenders are missing time. Debo's out. Ayuk is out. Purdy misses 2 games. Just all up and down the roster. They get much healthier. They were still, even despite all that, a top 13 offense and defense by DVOA, which, quite frankly, might have been Kyle Shanahan's best coaching job ever, which sounds ridiculous. He's made 5 of 9 NFC championships, but to drag that team to that good of a profile, even with all those injuries, now they get Robert Saleh back. We love a fired returning defensive coordinator. He's returning quite literally to his old job. The defense was so good under Saleh there. I'm in on the Niners. I don't blame you if you don't trust the defense in the playoffs, or maybe you don't trust Kyle Shanahan in the playoffs. If you don't want the Super Bowl ticket, some other ways we bet the Niners, a lot of ways here. McCaffrey, 22-1 offensive player of the year. Trent Williams, our first protector of the year pick, 11-1. Brock Purdy, we took a little nibble on the 30-1 MVP. We even got, Malik Collins at defensive rookie of the year as a long shot. I think it's okay to doubt the playoff profile, but can they get it done the regular season? I don't think you want the median outcome. If they're healthy, most wins in the league, this team is as good as anybody in the NFC where it's weaker, 13-1, pretty easy way to invest in San Fran.
Yeah, even if I'm not fully invested in San Fran like you guys are, I still feel like there are upside bets to take on them in case they do everything you're talking about, which in that division, I think there are opportunities. I think I've heard literally the case for all 4 teams in the NFC West, to be honest with you, from a lot of people. So I just think that division is a little bit up to opinion. All right, if you're counting at home, Tier 1, the Juggernauts, it's a team, Brandon, and really everybody thinks it's their time. The Ravens, hit it.
It's their time, I think, and I'm going with the bet you actually just said, but for the wrong team. I'm going MVP Super Bowl combo. Lamar Jackson to win MVP and Ravens to win the Super Bowl, 25-1 at ESPN Bet. Look, we did the whole series of rankings. The Ravens are top 7 in the NFL in my rankings at quarterback, skill position, offensive line, coaching, offense, defense, special teams, everything. It is ridiculous. In my model, this sounds crazy to me too. I understand. I have the Ravens a full 3 points to the spread ahead of any other team in the NFL. Like, this is alone in a top tier for a reason. No more excuses. This is the best team. I think they were the best team probably a year ago. By most of the advanced metrics, we already thought they were the best team last year. The other teams we just talked about, basically, the other top contenders, all got a little worse in the offseason. The Ravens got better. They went out and upgraded the secondary. They added to the team. They finally didn't lose coaches this year. The offense under Todd Monken has been outrageously number one. Obvious MVP candidate Lamar Jackson. He's never lost more than 5 games a season. And with a roster this good, you're going to get the wins as well. And it's time to go do the thing, go win in the playoffs. He's been right there. They had a shot last year. Every other contender is worse. Baltimore is better. If they're the 1 seed, you're going to want the ticket, even though you're going to have to sweat it out in the playoffs. So if you want them separately, I like that as well. I just shoehorn into one. MVP plus 550, Super Bowl odds plus 700. It's a tough schedule early. I don't mind if you want to wait, but I think the Ravens are so good that they beat those tough schedule games early, and now you're out. You can't bet them anymore because they're just the juggernaut that everyone else is chasing. I think they're that juggernaut right now. I think everyone's already chasing them. So one more for the road. What fun is it if you can't call your shot every once in a while? Ravens over the Niners in the Super Bowl. 70-1 at DraftKings. That's it. No more futures. I'm out.
Yeah, maybe the lights will go out as well, and we'll see it all over again. It'll be just fine. All right, that will do it here on the Action Network podcast. My thanks to Brandon Anderson. Do not forget to download the free award-winning Action Network app to see more from all of our Action Network contributors. Plus, you can track your own picks. Go to actionnetwork.com/pro. Use the promo code POD20 for $20 off a year of Action Pro. Also, check out the Action Network Discord server. Chop it up with experts, fellow gamblers during these games. There's a link to join in the description of the podcast. We'll be back in your podcast feed first thing on Friday morning for our first Best Bets show of the NFL season. You'll also hear from Stuckey and Raybon with their 6-pack episodes. So subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss any of it. Thank you for listening. Good luck with all your bets and enjoy the start of the season.